Have you ever finished reading an entire chapter, closed the book, and immediately realized, wait, what did I just read? Congratulations! You've experienced one of the biggest lies in studying. Because reading isn't learning. Highlighting isn't learning. Watching another productivity video instead of studying definitely isn't learning. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't get stronger by putting information into it. It gets stronger by pulling information out. That's exactly what active recall is. And if you're not using it yet, you're probably spending twice as much time studying for half the results. So today, let's learn how to actually use active recall the right way. Let's begin. First, what is active recall? Imagine going to the gym. Would your muscles grow by staring at the dumbbells? No. You have to lift them. Your brain works the same way. Every time you force yourself to remember something without looking at the answer, you're giving your memory a workout. That's active recall. Instead of reading your notes over and over, you ask yourself questions. That tiny difference changes everything. Because recognition feels like learning. Retrieval creates learning. Here's something interesting. When you read your notes again, everything looks familiar. Your brain says, yep, I know this. But familiarity is not memory, and exams don't ask, does this look familiar? They ask, can you remember it? Those are two completely different skills. The brain loves being challenged. Your brain is surprisingly lazy, but the moment you struggle to recall something, your brain pays attention. Scientists sometimes call this desirable difficulty. In other words, learning feels better when it's easy. Memory gets better when it's slightly hard. That struggle, it's a sign your brain is growing stronger. Step 1. Read small, recall immediately. Most people read 10 pages. Then they try remembering everything. Bad idea. Instead, read one paragraph. Close the book. Now ask yourself, what were the main points? Say them out loud or write them down. If you can't remember something, that's perfect. Now your brain knows exactly what needs work. Then check your notes. Fill the gaps. Repeat. This simple cycle is far more effective than reading the same page 5 times. Step 2. Turn everything into questions. Your notes should not look like a textbook. They should look like an interview. Instead of writing, the mitochondria produce ATP, ask, what does the mitochondria do? This is also why flashcards work so well. Not because they're magical, because they force retrieval. Step 3. Don't panic when you forget. Here's the biggest mistake students make. They forget something. Then they think, I'm terrible at memorizing. Actually, forgetting is part of remembering. Sounds weird, but every time you forget something and then successfully remember it again, the memory becomes stronger. So don't fear forgetting. Use it. Step 4. Leave some time before reviewing. Here's another mistake. Students often review something 5 minutes after learning it. Your brain barely had time to forget. Instead, wait. Review later that day. The next day, a few days later, a week later. This is called spaced repetition. And when combined with active recall, it's one of the most powerful learning systems we've discovered. Every successful retrieval tells your brain, this information matters. Eventually, it sticks. The biggest myth about good memory. People often believe smart students simply have better memories. Not necessarily. Many top students don't memorize faster, they retrieve more often. Instead of reading the same chapter 6 times, they test themselves 6 times. Same amount of effort. Completely different results. What if active recall feels difficult? Good. Seriously. That's exactly how it's supposed to feel. If recalling information feels challenging, your brain is working. Growth happens at the edge of comfort, not inside it. So don't judge your study session by how easy it felt. Judge it by how many times you successfully pulled information from memory. That's the skill that matters. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, learning isn't about how much information you consume. It's about how much information you can retrieve when you actually need it. So the next time you finish reading a page, don't turn to the next one immediately. Pause. Close the book. Ask yourself, what do I remember? That one simple habit can completely change how you study because your brain doesn't learn best by seeing the answer. It learns best by searching for it. And sometimes, the fastest way to memorize something is to stop reading it. Comment brain emoji if you're going to use active recall today. Save this video for your next study session.